Luton is a large town, borough and unitary authority area of Bedfordshire, England, 30 miles north of London. Luton and its near neighbours, Dunstable and Houghton Regis, form the Luton Dunstable Urban Area with a population of about 258,000. Luton is home to League Two team Luton Town Football Club, whose history includes several spells in the top flight of the English League as well as a Football League Cup triumph in 1988. They play at Kenilworth Road Stadium, which has been their home since 1905. London Luton Airport, opened in 1938, is one of England's major airports. During the Second World War it doubled as an RAF base. The University of Bedfordshire is based in the town. The Luton Carnival, which has traditionally been held on the Whitsun bank holiday, is the largest one-day carnival in Europe. It has for the past 2 years been held on the Sunday instead. In 2012, it was moved to July to coincide with the Olympic torch relay and celebrations. The town was for many years famous for hat making, and was also home to a large Vauxhall Motors factory. The head office of Vauxhall Motors is still situated in the town. Car production at the plant began in 1905 and continued until 2002, where commercial vehicle production remains. History. Early history. The earliest settlements in the Luton area were at Round Green and Mixers Hill, where Paleolithic encampments have been found. Settlements reappeared after the ice had retreated in the Mesolithic period around 8000 BC. Traces of these settlements have been found in the Leagrave area of the modern town. Remains from the Neolithic period are much more common. A particular concentration of Neolithic burials has been found at Galley Hill. The most prominent Neolithic structure is Wallard's Bank, a henge dating from around 3000 BC. From the Neolithic onwards, the area seems to have been populated, but without any single large settlement. The first urban settlement nearby was the small Roman town of Duracabravis at Dunstable, but Roman remains in Luton itself consist only of scattered farmsteads. The foundation of Luton is usually dated to the 6th century when a Saxon outpost was founded on the River Lee, {luːtən}. Luton is recorded in the Domesday Book as {luːtən} and also as {luːtən}. Agriculture dominated the local economy at that time, and the town's population was around 700 800. In 1121 Robert, 1st Earl of Gloucester started work on St Mary's Church in the centre of the town. The work was completed by 1137. A Motte Bailey Castle which gives its name to the modern Castle Street was built in 1139. The castle was demolished in 1154 and the site is now home to a Mater landstore. During the Middle Ages Luton is recorded as being home to 6 water mills. Mill Street, in the town centre, takes its name from one of them. King John had hired a mercenary soldier, Fawkes de Briata copyright, to act on his behalf. When he married, Fawkes de Briata copyright acquired his wife's house which came to be known as Fawkes Hall, subsequently corrupted over the years to Foggshall, then Vauxhall. In return for his services, King John granted Fawkes the manor of Luton, where he built a castle alongside St Mary's Church. He was also granted the right to bear his own coat of arms and chose the mythical griffin as his heraldic emblem. The griffin thus became associated with both Vauxhall and Luton in the early 13th century. By 1240 the town is recorded as {luːtən}. One Simon of Luton was abbot of Bury St Edmunds from 1257 to 1279. The town had a market for surrounding villages in August each year, and with the growth of the town a second fair was granted each October from 1338. In 1336, much of Luton was destroyed by a great fire. However, the town was soon rebuilt. The agriculture base of the town changed in the 16th century with a brick-making industry developing around Luton. Many of the older wooden houses were rebuilt in brick. 17th century. During the English Civil War of the 17th century, in 1645, Royalists entered the town and demanded money and goods. Parliamentary forces arrived and during the fighting 4 Royalist soldiers were killed and a further 22 were captured. A second skirmish occurred 3 years later in 1648 when a Royalist army passed through Luton. A number of Royalists were attacked by Parliamentary soldiers at an inn on the corner of the current Bridge Street. Most of the royalists escaped but 9 were killed. 18th century, the hat-making industry began in the 17th century and became synonymous with the town. By the 18th century the industry dominated the town. Hats are still produced in the town but on a much smaller scale. The first Luton Workhouse was constructed in the town in 1722. Luton Hoo, a nearby large country house, was built in 1767 and substantially rebuilt after a fire in 1843. It is now a luxury hotel. 19th century. The town grew strongly in the 19th century. In 1801 the population was 3,095. By 1850 it was over 10,000 and by 1901 it was almost 39,000. Such rapid growth demanded a railway connection but the town had to wait a long time for one. The London and Birmingham Railway had been built through Tring in 1838, and the Great Northern Railway was built through Hitchin in 1852, both bypassing Luton, the largest town in the area. A branch line connecting with the Erlenbyer at Leighton Buzzard was proposed, but because of objections to a lease of land, construction terminated at Dunstable in 1848. It was another 10 years before the branch was extended to Bute Street Station, and the first train to Dunstable ran on May 3, 1858. The line was later extended to Welwyn and from 1860 direct trains to King's Cross ran. The Midland Railway was extended from Bedford to St Pancras through Leagrave and Midland Road Station and opened on September 9, 1867. Luton received a gas supply in 1834. Gas street lights were erected and the first town hall was opened in 1847. Newspaper printing arrived in the town in 1854. The first public cemetery was opened in the same year. Following a cholera epidemic in 1848, Luton formed a water company and had a complete water and sewerage system by the late 1860s. The first covered market was built in 1869. Luton was made a borough in 1876. A professional football club, the first in the south of England, was founded in 1885 following a resolution at the town hall that a Luton Town Club be formed. The crest also includes a hand holding a bunch of wheat, either taken as a symbol of the straw plaiting industry, or from the arms of John Withamstead, Abbot of St Albans, who rebuilt the chancel of St Mary's Church in the 15th century. 20th century. In the 20th century, the hat trade severely declined and was replaced by other industries. In 1905, Vauxhall Motors opened the largest car plant in the United Kingdom in Luton. In 1914, Hewlett and Blondeau aviation entrepreneurs built a factory in Leagrave which began aircraft production built under license for the war effort. The site was purchased in 1920 by new proprietors Electrolux Domestic Appliances, and this was followed by other light engineering businesses. In 1900, the Bailey Water Tower was built on the edge of what was to become Luton Hoo Memorial Park. It is now a private residence. In 1904, councillors Asher Hucklesby and Edwin Oakley purchased the estate at Walden Park and donated it to the people of Luton. Hucklesby went on to become mayor of Luton. The main house in the park became Walden Park Museum. The town had a tram system from 1908 until 1932, and the first cinema was opened in 1909. By 1914 the population had reached 50,000. The original town hall was destroyed in 1919 during Peace Day celebrations at the end of World War I. Local people, including many ex-servicemen, were unhappy with unemployment and had been refused the use of a local park to hold celebratory events. They stormed the town hall, setting it alight. A replacement building was completed in 1936. Luton Airport opened in 1938, owned and operated by the council. In World War II, the Vauxhall factory built Churchill tanks as part of the war effort. Despite heavy camouflage, the factory made Luton a target for the Luftwaffe and the town suffered a number of air raids. 107 died and there was extensive damage to the town. Other industry in the town, such as SKF, which produced ball bearings, made a vital contribution to the war effort. Although a bomb landed at the SKF factory, no major damage was caused. The pre-war years, even at the turn of the 1930s when a Great Depression saw unemployment reach record levels nationally, was something of an economic boom for Luton, as new industries grew and prospered. New private and council housing was built in the 1920s and 1930s, with Luton growing as a town to incorporate nearby villages Leagrave, Limbury and Stopsley between 1928 and 1933. Post-war, the slum clearance continued, and a number of substantial estates of council housing were built, notably at Farley Hill, Stopsley, Limbury, Marsh Farm and Leagrave. The M1 motorway passed just to the west of the town, opening in 1959 and giving it a direct motorway link with London and eventually the Midlands and the North. In 1962 a new library was opened by the Queen in the corner of St George's Square. In the late 1960s a large part of the town centre was cleared to build a large covered shopping centre, the Arndale Centre, which was opened in 1972. It was refurbished and given a glass roof in the 1990s. In 2000, Vauxhall announced the end of car production in Luton. The plant closed in March 2002. At its peak it had employed in excess of 30,000 people. Vauxhall's headquarters remain in the town, as does its van and light commercial vehicle factory. 21st Century, a major regeneration program for the town centre is underway, which will include upgrades to the town's bus and railway stations as well as improvements to the town's urban environment. St George's Square has been rebuilt and reopened in 2007. The new design won a Gold Standard Award for the town centre environment from the annual British Council of Shopping Centres Awards. Work was completed on an extension to the Mall Shopping Centre facing St George's Square. The largest of the new units was taken by TK Maxx. Planning applications for a much larger extension to the Mall Arndale Shopping Centre and also for a new centre in Power Court have been submitted. On the edge of Luton at Putteridge Bury a high-technology office park, Butterfield Green, is under construction. The former Vauxhall site is also to be redeveloped as a mixed-use site called Napier Park. It will feature housing, retail and entertainment use, including a new casino. Governance. The town is situated within the historic county of Bedfordshire, but since 1997 Luton has been an administratively independent unitary authority. The town remains part of Bedfordshire for ceremonial purposes. Luton Borough Council applied for city status at the Millennium in 2000, Golden Jubilee of Elizabeth II in 2002 and Diamond Jubilee in 2012. The latest bid was rejected in March 2012. Parliamentary Representation. Luton is represented by 2 members of Parliament. The constituency of Luton North has been held by Kelvin Hopkins since 1997. Luton South has been held by Gavin Shuker since 2010. Luton is within the East of England. Police and Crime Commissioner, Luton is served by Bedfordshire Police. The Police Commissioner is Ollie Martins who lives in the High Town area of the town. Local Council, Lutonians are governed by Luton Borough Council. The town is split into 19 wards, represented by 48 councillors. Elections are held for all seats every 4 years, with the most recent local elections held in May 2011 and the next due in May 2015. The council is controlled by the Labour Group, who have 36 local councillors. The next largest party is the Liberal Democrats with 8 seats, followed by the Conservative Party with 4 seats. Luton Council Coat of Arms. In 1876 the town council was granted its own coat of arms. The wheat sheaf was used on the crest to represent agriculture and a supply of straw used in the local hatting industry. The bee is traditionally the emblem of industry and the hive represents the straw plaiting industry for which Luton was famous. The rose is from the arms of the Napier family, whereas the thistle is a symbol for Scotland. An alternative suggestion is that the rose was a national emblem, and the thistle represents the Marquess of Bute, who formerly owned the manor of Luton. Geography. Luton is located in a break in the eastern part of the Chiltern Hills. The Chilterns are a mixture of chalk from the Cretaceous period and deposits laid at the southernmost points of the ice sheet during the last ice age. Bedfordshire had a reputation for brick making, but the industry is now significantly reduced. The brickworks at Stopsley took advantage of the clay deposits in the east of the town. The source of the River Lee, part of the Thames Valley drainage basin, is in the Leagrave area of the town. The Great Bramingham Wood surrounds this area. It is classified as ancient woodland. Records mention the wood at least 400 years ago. There are few routes through the hilly area for some miles. This has led to several major roads and a major rail link being constructed through the town. Climate: Luton has a temperate marine climate, like much of the British Isles, with generally light precipitation throughout the year. The weather is very changeable from day to day, and the warming influence of the Gulf Stream makes the region mild for its latitude. The average total annual rainfall is 698 mm, with rain falling on 117 days of the year. The local climate around Luton is differentiated somewhat from much of southeast England due to its position in the Chiltern Hills, meaning it tends to be 1–2 degrees Celsius cooler than the surrounding towns. Often flights at Luton Airport, lying 160 am above sea level, will be suspended when marginal snow events occur, while airports at lower elevations, such as Heathrow, at 25 am above sea level, continue to function. An example of this is shown in the photograph to the right, the snowline being about 100 am above sea level. Absolute temperature extremes recorded at Rothamsted Research Station, 5 miles south-southeast of Luton Town Centre and at a similar elevation range from a 17.0 degrees Celsius in December 1981 and a 16.7 degrees Celsius in January 1963 to 36.0 degrees Celsius in August 2003 and 33.8 degrees Celsius in August 1990 and July 2006. Records for Rothamsted date back to 1901. Areas: the Victorian expansion of Luton focused on areas close to the existing town centre and railways. In the 1920s and 1930s, growth typically was though absorbing neighbouring villages and hamlets, an example being Leagrave, and infill construction between them and Luton. After the Second World War, there were several estates and developments constructed both by the local council such as Farley Hill or Marsh Farm, or privately such as Bushmead. More about places within Luton. Demography. The United Kingdom Census 2011 showed that the borough had a population of 203,201, a 10.2% increase from the previous census in 2001, when Luton was the 27th largest settlement in the United Kingdom. In 2011, 46,756 were aged under 16, 145,208 were 16 to 74, and 11,237 were 75 or over. The latest population figure for the borough is 203,600. Local inhabitants are known as Lutonians. Ethnicity: Luton has seen several waves of immigration. In the early part of the 20th century, Irish and Scottish people arrived in the town. These were followed by Afro-Caribbean and Asian immigrants. More recently, immigrants from Eastern Europe have made Luton their home. As a result of this, Luton has a diverse ethnic mix, with a significant population of Asian descent, mainly Pakistani 29,353, Indian 10,625 and Bangladeshi 13,606. Since the 2011 census, Luton has become one of 3 towns in the United Kingdom to officially hold a white British minority. It was announced in a report based on the census figures that along with Leicester and Slough, Luton was one of 3 towns outside of London where white Britons were minority, making up only 45% of Luton's population. However, the town still has a white majority, when non-British whites such as Irish and Eastern Europeans are included, and 81% of the population of Luton still define themselves as British, despite the majority of its residents being from a foreign ethnic background. Religion. In the 10-year period since the United Kingdom Census 2001, the percentage of inhabitants in Luton reporting being Christian fell from 60 to 47%. Meanwhile, those reporting being Muslim increased from 15 to 25%. Luton has been identified in the media as a home of people with extremist social and religious viewpoints. The Muslim group Al-Muhajiroun was based there before it was banned, and the founder of the English Defence League is from Luton. A Muslim protest in March 2009 against soldiers returning from the Iraq War was followed by a counter-demonstration opposing Sharia law in the United Kingdom. However, Many residents say that the numbers of extremists, both Muslims and far-right, are small. Inayat Bunglawala of the Muslim Council of Britain lives in Luton, and a local representative of Churches Together described the reality of life in the town as a healthy interaction between people of different faiths. Economic activity: of the town's working population, 63% are employed. This figure includes students, the self-employed and those who are in part-time employment. 11% are retired, 8% look after the family or take care of the home and 5% are unemployed. Economy: Luton's economy has, traditionally been focused on several different areas of industry including car manufacture, engineering and millinery. However, today, Luton is moving towards a service-based economy mainly in the retail and the airport sectors, although there is still a focus on light industry in the town. Notable firms with headquarters in Luton include EasyJet, a Euro head office and main base at London Luton Airport, Monarch Airlines, a Euro headquarters at Luton Airport, Thomson UK, a Euro travel, Vauxhall Motors, a Euro headquarters. Notable firms with offices in Luton include Anritsu, a Euro Electronics, AstraZeneca, a Euro Pharmaceuticals, Silex Galileo, a Euro Aerospace, Ernst & Young, a Euro Accountants, Experian, a Euro Data and Analytics, Mazars, a Euro Accountants, Siemens AG, a Euro Electronics, Whitbread, a Euro Hospitality. Shopping: the main shopping area in Luton is centred around the Mall Luton. Built in the 1960s/1970s and opened as an Arndale centre, construction of the shopping centre led to the demolition of a number of the older buildings in the town centre including the Platt Halls. Shops and businesses in the remaining streets, particularly in the roads around Cheapside and in High Town, have been in decline ever since. George Street, on the south side of the Arndale, was pedestrianised in the 1990s. The shopping centre had some construction and redesign work done to it over the 2011-2012 period and now has a new square used for leisure events, as well as numerous new food restaurants such as Toby's Carvery and Costa Coffee. Contained within the main shopping centre is the market, which contains butchers, fishmongers, fruit and veg, hairdressers, tattoo parlours, ice cream, flower stall and t-shirt printing as well as eating places. Another major shopping area is Bury Park where there are shops catering to Luton's ethnic minorities. Food and drink: Luton has a diverse selection of restaurants, a Euro-English, Italian, Chinese, Indian, Caribbean, Thai and Malaysian to name a few. No area of the town is specifically restaurant-orientated, but in some areas there is a concentration of Asian restaurants. There are pubs and clubs in the town centre. A number of these cater for the town's student population. However, there are still a number of traditional pubs in the town. Transport: Luton is situated less than 30 miles north of the centre of London, giving it good links with the city and other parts of the country via the motorway network and the national rail system. Luton is also home to London Luton Airport, one of the major feeder airports for London and the South East. Luton is also served by bus services run by Arriva and St Bus and a large taxi network. As a unitary authority, Luton Borough Council is responsible for the local highways and public transport in the borough and licensing of taxis. Education: Luton is one of the main locations of the University of Bedfordshire. A large campus of the university is in Luton Town Centre, with a smaller campus based on the edge of town in Putteridge Bury, an old Victorian manor house. The other main campus of the university is located in Bedford. The town is home to Luton's sixth form college and Barnfield College. Both have been awarded Learning and Skills Beacon status by the Department for Children, Schools and Families. Luton schools and colleges had also been earmarked for major investment in the government scheme Building Schools for the Future programme, which intends to renew and refit buildings in institutes across the country. Luton is in the third wave of this long-term programme with work intending to start in 2009. Some schools were rebuilt before the programme was scrapped by the coalition government. There are 98 educational institutes in Luton, a Euro 7 nurseries, 70 primary schools, 13 secondary schools, 4 further educational institutes and 4 other educational institutes. Culture and leisure: sport. Luton is the hometown of Luton Town Football Club, who were relegated from the Football League in 2009, one below the fourth flight of the English league structure. Their nickname, the Hatters, dates back to when Luton had a substantial millinery industry. Luton are currently in the Conference Premier after failing to win automatic promotion to Football League Two during the 2009 ʻluːtən, 2010 ʻluː11 and 2011 ʻluː12 seasons. Luton were beaten 2-0 on aggregate by York City in the semi-finals of the playoffs, and therefore failed to progress to the final at Wembley Stadium. The following season Luton progressed to the final of the playoffs, losing to AFC Wimbledon on penalties. In 2011 ʻluː12 once again the team reached the final of the playoffs, only to lose 2-1 to York. Luton were promoted back to the Football League as champions of the conference in 2014. Speedway racing was staged in Luton in the mid-1930s. The town has three rugby union clubs: Stockwood Park Rugby Club, who play in Midlands 3 SE, Luton Rugby Club, who play in London 1 North, and Vauxhall Motors FC, who do not currently play in the RFU League structure. Walden Park. Walden Park is situated on the River Lee in Luton. The park has sporting facilities, is home to the Walden Park Museum and contains formal gardens. The park is located between Old Bedford Road and the A6, New Bedford Road, and is within walking distance of the town centre. Stockwood Park. Stockwood Park is a large municipal park near Junction 10 of the M1. Located in the park is Stockwood Discovery Centre, a free museum that houses the Mossman Collection in Luton local social history, archaeology and geology. There is an athletics track, an 18-hole golf course, several rugby pitches and areas of open space. The park was originally the estate and grounds to Stockwood House, which was demolished in 1964. Carnival. Luton International Carnival is the largest one-day carnival in Europe. It usually takes place on the late May bank holiday. Crowds can reach 150,000 on each occasion. The procession starts at Walden Park and makes its way down New Bedford Road, around the town centre via St George's Square, back down New Bedford Road and finishes back at Walden Park. There are music stages and stalls around the town centre and at Walden Park. Luton is home to the UK Centre for Carnival Arts, the country's first purpose-built facility of its kind. Due to budget cuts, the most recent carnival was run on a significantly smaller scale, with approximately one-third of a typical attendance. Most of the attendees were residents of the Luton area. Luton St Patrick's Festival, the festival celebrating the patron saint of Ireland and organised by Luton Irish Forum, St Patrick, is held on the weekend nearest to March 17. In its 15th year in 2014, the festival includes a parade, market stalls and music stands as well as Irish-themed events. Theatre. Luton is home to the Library Theatre, a 238-seat theatre located on the third floor of the town's central library. The theatre's programme consists of local amateur dramatic societies, pantomime, children's theatre and one-night shows of touring theatre companies. Luton is also home to the Hat Factory. Originally, as its name suggests, this arts centre was in fact a real hat factory. The Hat Factory is a combined arts venue in the centre of Luton. It opened in 2003 and since then has been the unregistered trademark's main provider of contemporary theatre, dance and music. The venue provides live music, club nights, theatre, dance, films, children's activities, workshops, classes and gallery exhibitions. www.theatrefactory.org. Museums. Luton Museum, Walden Park Museum, previously known as Luton Museum and Art Gallery, is housed in a large Victorian mansion in Walden Park on the outskirts of the town centre. The museum collection focuses on the traditional crafts and industry of Luton and Bedfordshire, notably lace-making and hat-making. There are samples of local lace from as early as the 17th century. Stockwood Craft Museum. Based in Stockwood Park, Luton, the collection of rural crafts and trades held at Stockwood Park Museum was amassed by Thomas Wyatt Bagshaw, who was a notable local historian and a leading authority on folk life. Bagshaw was born in Dunstable in 1901 and became a director of the family engineering firm. The collection only contains examples from Bedfordshire and the borders of neighbouring counties, giving the collection a very strong regional identity. Mossman Collection. The Mossman Carriage Collection is held at Stockwood Park, Luton, and is the largest and most significant vehicle collection of its kind in the country, including originals from the 18th, 19th and 20th centuries. The Mossman collection of horse-drawn vehicles was given to Luton Museum Service in 1991. It illustrates the development of horse-drawn road transportation in Britain from Roman times up until the 1930s. Local attractions: Dunstable Downs, Chiltern Hills, Leagrave Park, Leighton Buzzard Light Railway, Galley and Walden Hills Nature Reserve, the Hat Factory, Luton Hoo, Summers's Castle, Stockwood Discovery Centre, Stockwood Park, Wardown Park Museum, Wallard's Bank, Whipsnade Tree Cathedral, Whipsnade Zoo, Woburn Safari Park, Woodside Farm and Wildfowl Park, Rest Park, Twin Towns. Luton participates in international town twinning. Its partners are media, newspapers. 3 weekly newspapers are delivered free to all the houses in Luton. They are Luton and Dunstable Express, delivered free to Luton and Dunstable households on Wednesdays. Luton on Sunday, delivered free to Luton and Dunstable households on Sunday. Herald and Post, delivered free to all Luton households on Thursdays. There are also 2 other newspapers in circulation around Luton: Luton News, the Herald and Post sister paper, which is published every Wednesday. Luton Online, a monthly newspaper produced by the local council. Usually delivered with the Luton and Dunstable Express. Radio, BBC Three Counties Radio, the local BBC station, broadcasts from its office in Hastings Street, Luton to Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire and Buckinghamshire. Heart 97.6, a formerly independent local station, broadcast from Milton Keynes. Diverse FM began broadcasts in April 2007, having been awarded a community radio licence from Ofcom. Luton FM, the university's radio station, runs for 28 days during May. In addition, Ramadan FM broadcasts during the month of Ramadan. Inspire FM, an Islamic radio station, 105.1 fathoms, is only available in Luton. Television Luton falls at the crossover point between the 2 regions of Carlton ḻuːtən and Anglia Television, which transmits from Norwich. Coverage for most Luton Town FC games and highlights is usually shown on BBC London News and on BBC One. London's Football League show, Days Like These, the British remake of the popular American sitcom That 70s Show, was set in Luton. Media references: in the TV series One Foot in the Grave there are often references to places within Luton. The scriptwriter David Rennick was brought up in the town. The town was mentioned several times in the seminal sketch show Monty Python's Flying Circus. In one sketch, a rather half-hearted hijacker demands that a plane headed for Cuba be diverted to Luton. Luton is one of the constituencies returning a silly party victory in the famous sketch Election Night Special. In the Piranha Brothers sketch, Spiny Norman lived in a hangar at Luton Airport. A 1976 episode of the sci-fi series Space, 1999 was called The Rules of Luton, inspired by the town name. The well-known comedian Eric Morecambe frequently made references to Luton Town FC, due to him being a former chairman of the club, as well as living in close proximity to Luton in Harpenden. Lutonians, people who were born in Luton or are associated with the town. By birth. By association. See also. Outline of England, references. External links: Luton Borough Council YouTube channel, Luton on Sunday, Luton Live. Luton has come to embody the failures of multiculturalism.